The problem with men going their own way, it's like we can never have nice things. So many of you know by now that the MGTOW community is under surveillance. You cannot even use the word on YouTube right now without your video possibly, potentially being immediately flagged. It is a no go, it's a no show. You cannot even use the acronym in your video titles. And this is the result of a lot of the very toxic and angry stuff that was coming out of the community. Many people are going to say, well, oh, that's what happens with everything. And, you know, they start lying. But no, you know, MGTO, MGTOW basically became a community that was focused on male separatism. Okay. And, if you look at the Wikipedia, it has been implicated for a variety of things. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, which, and they're basically a joke themselves. It's a nonprofit legal advocacy group, but they're a very far left leaning group. They've categorized the MGTOW community as something very, very bad. You can see the screen. I mean, it's a very bad situation right now. And here's the thing: MGTOW ideology emerged in the early 2000s, although it's not clear where it originated. A blog called No Ma'am was one of the first dedicated to the ideology, publishing a MGTOW manifesto in 2001. Earlier members of MGTOW were largely politically libertarian and focused on individual self reliance in accordance with traditional notions of masculinity. Over time, the movement's focus shifted towards male separatism. And then, of course, a far right commentator, Milo, is credited with helping to popularize MGTOW with a 2014 Breitbart article titled The Sexodus. Now, as you guys can see, many people will say that's not true, but it absolutely is. It ended up gravitating and becoming about male separatism. And then it wasn't just male separatism, it was also, you know, establishing some type of hierarchy within this community. And while, the very tenets and basis of the community is that there is no leader, there is no hierarchy, there's no level, guys, I helped to found the damn community and on YouTube, that's where MGTOW 2.0 comes from. It comes from YouTube. Many people don't understand this. They hear MGTOW and they don't know this is a YouTube based community. Before YouTube, there was a thing called 1.0. That's what it's branded, and that was closer to neo masculinity, and that was about rebuilding the relationship between men and women. Okay, many people don't know the damn history of this thing, and then it began to take root on YouTube, and you had guys like me, Barbar, Stardust, you know, I don't want to really say his name, Scam Man, and making content, but specifically it was centered on the things that were happening to men in Western society, and that's when red pill theory started to become involved and started to take root at that time. But it went literally from you know not marrying, not having children, and focusing on yourself and your own happiness to separating yourself from women, separating yourself socially, financially, and economically from women in the state. And if you understand, it became a separatist movement over time. And there is so much anger because if you try to even discuss it, you'll get shut down immediately. And there's all of these people who are like saying things like, well, I'll go down with the ship. Don't if you don't, it's better to be control alt deleted on your feet than it is to go on your knees. And here's the thing, I've said this before, there are times when you have to kneel before you can stand. A lot of these men have lost their damn minds. you know I remember back in the early days, one of the early guys, he used to say, used to say angry, there's no MGTOW, level 99, there's no 9,000. Like, I've reached power, like he's above 9,000. There's no such thing. And of course, it's so funny. I'm using that analogy right now, and Dragon Ball is on the screen because that's where it comes from. Vegeta, like his power level is above 9,000. Yeah, there's no level 9,000. And but what ended up happening is these people came along and they started creating hierarchies in it, and it's like, oh, you have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. There's no such thing. There's literally no such thing. And then there started to be things like, okay, well, if you want to be a part of the crew, you have to do certain things. You cannot have a woman. You're not supposed to be associating. You're not supposed to be speaking. You're supposed to, if you come in contact, you have to cross the street. It began to delve into a lot of lunacy. Many of the people who created these problems in the community, a lot of these dudes have been banned. Like they're not even allowed to have channels anymore. And some of these guys, as crazy as they are, and vitriolic as they are, they went out and now they have women. They've gone overseas and become passport bros. Okay, they are not MGTOWs, and it's so crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The moment that you go and you get a girlfriend, or you start talking to women, or you allow women into the like onto your channel, well, you're no longer a part of the crew. And that's the thing. MGTOW is a separatist space. It is a separatist space. you know, and it's really problematic like that. This is why I think MWA is so much better. It comes down to each man deciding what works for him, and every man, basically decides how he walks away. There's no destination. With MGTOW, there's a destination. And it's like, I'm seeing comments now where people are saying that, men need to come together and work together. And they're trying to like do the same garbage with with MWA that they did with MGTOW, where we need, men need to come together and work together, and there needs to be some type of rules. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking? They like, it's like, we tried this already. It did not work well. Okay. It did not work well. At the end of the day, you know, if you look at things like Buddhism, in Buddhism, you have a variety of different people who follow the Buddhist philosophy, but not all of these people are good people. You have a bunch of people who follow different religions and philosophies, but they it doesn't make them all, believe the same thing, or that they're all going in the same direction. MGTOW has a very clear direction, separatism. That's what it is. All right. That's what it is. With MWA, you can basically choose for yourself how you choose to live your life, including if you want to walk away with a woman, or if you want to walk away from your family and your kids. It all comes down to choice. And it's clear that there's so many people that it's like no matter what happens, they just don't learn their lesson, and they want to control the lives of other men. And it's foolish. The best way for things to exist, I think that MWA in many ways is going to become, and it is now becoming, a natural extension of the manosphere, where basically there's a wide group of thoughts and ideas, people from different backgrounds, ideologies, ideas, that are walking away. They're walking away. They're sharing their ideas. And there's no, all men have to come together. All men have to sit down and no, we're not all brothers. And this is one of the biggest things that got me in a lot of trouble. I would constantly say that we're not all brothers. One thing that the MGTOWs were furious with me is when I said that don't sit around spending all your time just listening to red pill content. And that made a lot of them very angry, because I said that this stuff will start to screw with your head. It will start to make you it'll make you very anxious. It can start to make you feel very unhappy. It could affect you negatively psychologically. If you want to spend all of your time listening to this content, I can't tell you what to do, but you really shouldn't spend every waking moment just listening to this. Do what makes you happy. And for example, I try to be comedic, and I also weave in, other stuff. For example, I don't only talk about I don't only talk about MWA, right, or MGTOW. I talk about crypto. I talk about traveling. We talk about, going overseas. We talk about making money online. We talk about how tech AI is going to transform things, and we share knowledge, and I think that's kind of what men want. But if you just sit around all day just listening about women, 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 it gets miserable. And that's, you can do what you want to do, but understand that other men have come before you. And what they say, listen, if you sit around doing this all day long, you're going to drive yourself insane. And some guys don't want to listen. They don't want to listen, and something, it's their choice. But when you get hurt and things, it doesn't work out for you, don't come back crying. When you're having when you're beginning to have psychological issues, don't come back crying. You know, every man has to decide how to live their lives for themselves. But if you're sitting around in this echo chamber of just basically expecting other men to tell you how to live your life, that's not a good thing. You have to figure out what works for you as an individual. And some people don't like when I say that. I know I'm going to get backlash for saying this. You have to figure out what works for you. You can learn things from me. You can learn from other men. You should take from me what works for you and then throw away anything that doesn't. I am not God. I am not Jesus Christ. Neither are any of these men. My perspective, my knowledge, everything who I am as a person is continuing to change and evolve over time. It's true. And I think that that's a great thing because you have the ability to grow. This is what's important about being a human being. You can grow, you can change your perspectives. You have the choice to keep your perspectives or to change them. With MGTOW, though, you are not allowed to. Basically, they're like, oh, MGTOW is freedom, you can go wherever you choose to go. No, you can't. All right, you're all going in one direction, away from women, and then later and women and the state. And I can understand wanting to separate yourself from the state. I can understand choosing not to have relationships. But the moment that other men say, well, okay, I want to have a relationship, or I'm not completely separating myself from the state, I'm separating myself as much as I choose to. I work just enough to survive and thrive and no more. Or I'm not planning, I don't want to ghost. Like, ghosting is fine, but I don't plan on ghosting. Okay, I don't want to go off the grid. I don't want to go down that route. And it's like, a lot of the people who become more extreme, they start trying to tell people what to do and how to live their lives. And if you don't, if you suddenly have a different perspective, if you suddenly do something different, they're like, well, we're not telling you what to do. Obviously, you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah, but you're no longer a part of the community, right? You're no longer an MGTOW. And they don't like to admit that. Guys, don't forget, I have another channel called Men Walking Away, where I discuss topics just like the topics you'll find on the Angry Guy video. There's a link to the Men Walking Away channel in the description of the video. I release daily videos on that channel. So if you want even more Angry Guy content, you can head over to the Men Walking Away channel. Again, it's linked in the description of the video. Go check it out. Enjoy the content. Subscribe. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Do you agree with the things I've spelled out? The problems with MGTOW, and if you look at what's happened here now, its situation on YouTube, the fact that you can't even use the word, all the other content creators, it's banned. It is 100% banned on YouTube. It is banned. And it's like, other content creators, they talk about it, but they can't even mention the word. They're like, we can't even mention the word anymore. And if you look at the vitriolic community, they're like, we don't care. Like, we're gonna go down with the ship. It's like, what ship? If you can't really trap the MWA community, because MWA, these men will just walk away from your vitriol. Like, they don't have time for your behavior, fatherless behavior. Like, they're just gonna walk away. You can go and you can start to go, we like, it literally became like you remember like the pink lady bit hats years ago? The pink lady bit hats when they had the feminist marches in Washington, and they had the pink lady bit hats. Like this, that's pretty much what it became like in the MGTOW community, where it was like, if you dare, you better, like, there was just so much anger. Like, bro, no one has time for that right now. And no one has time to like defend the label. Like, you could like literally just walk away Anyone, like, I'm just being serious. Like, no one's gonna fight for MWA. No one's gonna fight for this crap. Everyone's just gonna literally walk away. Like, if the label, like, it's really just 3 letters, right? And there's no pronunciation of it. And there's a bunch of variations now going around. Like, you guys are messing around, like coming up with a bunch of different variations, like men with alternatives. Men with alternatives. I love some of what you guys are doing. Men withholding assets is another one. Oh my goodness. Like, this though, that you guys are definitely having fun with it. Let me see if we could put that up and get that on the screen for you guys. Men withholding assets, men with attributes. You know, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's men choosing to live their lives however they want to live them and not listening to anyone else. Like, no one gives a damn. No one gives a damn. Everybody's just going about their business. It's as simple as that. No one, you know, like, I'm busy with so many options. Exactly. Exactly. It's men with options, men with attributes, men with assets, men with alternatives. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think about everything. If you agree with what I said regarding the problem with men going their own way, and now if you see what's happened with it, it's banned on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Been walking away, and cheers.